frilly dress and over-the-top accessories, you might have seen a young woman dressed in such atypical clothing. But what exactly is this fashion? Why is she wearing it? This is the topic we'll explore today. Lolita fashion is an alternative fashion subculture originating from Japan, mostly worn by young women and older teenage girls. The fashion is divided into smaller sub-styles, the main ones being sweet, with its kawaii patterns and lively colors; gothic, characterized by its blacks and its strong Victorian influence, as well as Christian motifs; and classic, a more mature version of the fashion with less saturated colors and a big inspiration from Western European 19th century attire. A Lolita outfit is typically referred as a coordinate, which is made of bloomers which serve as underpants for more comfort and modesty, a petticoat, which is a voluminous skirt put under the Lolita outfits to give it their essential bell or cupcake shape. A crinoline could also be used for this. A blouse, which is just the top part of the outfit. The main piece, which can be a JSK or jumper skirt as shown here, but could also be a skirt or a one-piece dress, in which case there isn't a need for a blouse. Legwear, here's some frilly socks, but any stocking works as long as it matches the coordinate. Shoes, which again can be anything as long as it matches the overall coord, but are typically Mary Janes or tea parties. Accessories, headdress, bows, bags, jewelry, and else, many options are possible. Lolita fashion was born in the late 80s, but really came to life during the 90s. While Sweet Lolita really begins with the brand Baby the Stars Shine Bright, with its opening in 1988 by designer Isobe Akinori, Gothic Lolita appeared first in the Kansai region thanks to a group of designers heavily inspired by Victorian fashions. The fashion did not always look as it does today. We can see a clear difference between the Lolita look in each decade, and we can only expect it to change again in the future. Something interesting about Lolita fashion is that it's almost exclusively a feminine fashion. Other alternative fashions almost always include men, while for Lolita we could pretty much call it a girls' club. So why do women choose to wear Lolita? We must add context to understand it better. In the 70s and 80s, there was a rise in the push for consumption, which created an uncomfortable position for women at the time. They were both expected to adhere to traditional values, while they were not living traditional lives anymore. Furthermore, the 90s were a period of economic and societal instability, and the youth suffered immensely from it, both being victims of and blamed for the difficulties they faced. Young women were thus one of the central victims of these times. Lolita is often seen as an act of rebellion for women, rejecting the social expectation pushed on them, as well as only wearing the fashion for themselves. Considering the social context, it can also be interpreted as a refusal to grow up and become an adult in that troubled period. The fashion incorporates a lot of childlike elements, so it wouldn't be such a far-fetched conclusion, as during those troubled times, the adult world must have seemed scary, and returning to the comfort of childhood through fashion can be a form of escapism. For Lolitas in Japan, the fashion is feminist because although it does push for women to be modest, innocent, sweet, and cute, it is not about men. It isn't about being a mother or a wife. Lolita is about and for women. Lolitas rebel against their traditional role as women. And although it is believed by some people that Lolita fashion is attractive to Japanese men, it isn't to most, as it goes against the ideals of the traditional woman. Lolita allows them to be visible without the presence of men. It creates a collective of women and lets them be feminine without catering to the likings of men. So, now that we know a bit more about the fashion, what are the reasons to wear Lolita fashion? Like explained earlier, Lolita is a form of escapism for the wearers. It allows them to escape to a nostalgic world, either their own childhood or a fantastical world. Lolitas can become their own shoujo manga protagonist or imitate their visual kei idols. But there are other simpler reasons to wear Lolita fashion. Fashion is a form of self-expression, and many just have fun with the intricate coordinates of Lolita. Some Lolitas just like the idea of wearing clothes resembling princesses in their daily lives, or just find the fashion to be cute. Lolita brings comfort and unites women. Lolita fashion spread more and more since its emergence in the 90s. There are reasons for that. Music is a central element of most alternative fashions like goth or punk. While Lolita isn't a music-based subculture, it did still play a part in the popularization of the fashion. Visual kei is a Japanese music genre inspired by glam rock, new romantic, gothic music, and Japanese kabuki. Mana, member of the popular visual kei group Malice Miser, is often named as one of the biggest inspirations of the Lolita movement. A lot of fans started to copy their idols and wanted to wear those extravagant outfits as well. The fashion was also popularized through magazines, movies, especially Kamikaze Girls, as well as mangas and anime. Ever since the 90s, small communities, online and in real life, were created and helped make other women interested in the fashion. It started to spread to new grounds outside of the Japanese borders and into other countries, thanks to international shipping, online communities, Lolita patterns printed in English, as well as the increasing number of Lolitas wearing their coordinates at anime conventions, exposing the fashion to a larger audience. This was the history of Lolita fashion. Thank you for watching.